People Before Profit will not be supporting this bill. We are opposed to any attempt to use the current crises, including the growth of quite horrifying anti-refugee, influenced by racist and far-right idea, protests and so on, as an excuse to add another layer to the powers and scope of policing in this state. I listened to the Minister and most of the opposition speakers express broad support for the bill, and that's generally couched in terms of how transformative this new technology can be, freeing up Garda, saving thousands of hours of Garda time, revolutionising policing. But I think we should be clear and honest that body cams, greater use of drone footage, CCTV, or especially facial recognition technology will not do any of those things. They will not revolutionise policing for the better. And I can predict very confidently that if passed, we will still be back here in the same sort of position in 2 or 3 years' time down the road with another list of requests for greater powers and laws and resources, and with the same promise that only with these ones we'll actually be able to change the game and have an impact in terms of crime and so on. It's the rhetoric that we always hear in terms of extra powers being given in relation to new laws on special criminal courts, public order acts, etc. In this case, the promise is that technology will save us if only we use it. But there is no evidence for that, and in fact, in particular, in relation to the facial recognition technology, it comes with very significant question marks over it, very significant problems from international evidence, and with a growing worldwide movement that is resisting it and pointing out the harm and damage that can result from it. And we do have the benefit of being able to look and learn from other states before we take this very retrograde and disastrous move, and it is shocking that the Minister, and in particular the Green Party, seem determined to ignore the evidence of the harm that this can do. It is extraordinary that we're told that the Minister will bring an amendment at committee stage to facilitate facial recognition technology when it is such a major part, therefore avoiding any real scrutiny, any pre-legislative scrutiny, because it comes in at such a late time when it's such a major change and a major development. The ICCL have pointed out that neither facial recognition technology or automated number plate recognition were in the general scheme of the bill, and precisely were not subjected to pre-legislative scrutiny. I want to comment in more detail on the proposed amendments that the Minister says they'll bring in relation to facial recognition technology. So I want to quote at some length the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, on this. They have experience of this, and they have a very strong attitude about it. They say, these technologies threaten our privacy and free speech rights, and when used by police and immigration enforcement, serve as yet another dangerous system to abuse black and brown people on a massive scale. Big tech companies are profiting off these abuses because they are the ones developing and selling face recognition to government agencies. And it's our communities, particularly communities of colour, that face the harmful consequences. We know firsthand how tech companies collaborate with immigration and law enforcement agencies to build large-scale surveillance tools that facilitate and fuel racist systems that harm both immigrants and US citizens. Face recognition technology is racist from how it was built to how it is used. It's been used by police departments to wrongfully arrest black men, by ICE and CBP to target and track immigrant families, and by the FBI to surveil Black Lives Matter demonstrators exercising their First Amendment rights. Face recognition massively expands the government's power to track our movements and target people based on their race, religion, political affiliation or speech. And while everyone's rights are at stake, black and brown people are harmed the most when this racist technology collides with our racist systems. In the words of Amnesty International, facial recognition risks being weaponised by law enforcement against marginalised communities around the world. From New Delhi to New York, this invasive technology turns our identities against us and undermines human rights. The ICCL pointed out in their briefing that in Belgium, Luxembourg and Morocco, facial recognition technology is banned or greatly restricted. In the US, cities that have banned police use of facial recognition technology include Boston, Oakland, Portland and San Francisco. In the UK, huge questions have emerged about the accuracy, with some studies in some cities suggesting 80% inaccuracies in the application of facial recognition technologies. Given all of this, the Minister's unquestioning support for it is baffling. We agree with the ICCL statement that facial recognition technology has no place in Irish policing. Despite this, we're told that this tech will save us. It's particularly ironic that it is touted as some sort of response to racist and far-right attacks on refugees, when globally it is recognised as contributing to racist policing and the targeting of vulnerable minorities. I'm not reassured by bland guarantees of oversight and safeguards, because the truth is we have a consistent problem with holding Gardaí in this state to account. I want to remember the late Dara Quigley, who was an articulate, powerful writer and campaigner on many issues. I worked alongside her in particular in relation to the water charges. But the sharing of her image by the Gardaí when she was in a clearly distressed state has never been properly investigated or anyone held to account. Similarly, the history of GSOC investigating abuses and errors in policing in this state does not inspire confidence in any oversight or accountability when this new tech is rolled out. Given the body of evidence globally on facial recognition technology, of how it has been misused and abused, of how inaccurate it is and how it seems to be pushed by big tech companies in their own interests, it is unconscionable that the Green Party in particular, who have an on-paper commitment to civil liberties, can support this. If they had any principle left, they would oppose it and refuse to support any amendment that the Minister brings to facilitate this. The problems that communities face, which are real, with antisocial activity, with drug crimes, with violence against persons and against women in particular, cannot be addressed solely by a policing response, and they cannot be addressed by some magic new technology. For that reason, we will not support the bill.